Hey learners, welcome back. Now, after learning about the types of capital, we shall have a look onto the important items that are present under the head share capital of the balance sheet. You know now, balance sheet on the equity and the liability side, the first heading is shareholders fund, and under shareholders fund we have three headings A, B and C. A is share capital. So let's have a look onto those items which are present under the head of share capital. See, items of balance sheet. Now in balance sheet, the first heading that we have is shareholders fund. Under shareholders fund, we have three subheadings, the first one being share capital. So under the share capital, some of the important items are point number 1, par value per share. Par value means the face value per share, like rupees 100, rupees 10, rupees 20, whatever be the par value of the share, that is mentioned under the share capital. Clear? Next one, number and amount of shares authorized. So we have understood the meaning of authorized capital. Under authorized capital, how many shares and what amount of authorized capital the company is having, that we get to understand under share capital subheading. Next, how many shares are issued, how many shares are subscribed and fully paid, how many shares are subscribed but not fully paid, all these things we get to understand under the subheading of share capital. This is why previously I have discussed the types of capital with you, because under types of capital we have clearly discussed about the subscribed and fully paid up capital, subscribed but not fully paid up capital. Okay, because I knew that these terms will come up over here, and in case I do not discuss them with you, it will create confusion in your minds. That is why I have previously discussed them. Clear? Next, what we have is shares in the company held by each shareholder holding more than 5% shares, specifying the number of shares held. Now, what does that mean? It means that in case a shareholder is holding more than 5% of the shares of the total shares of the company, if any shareholder is holding more than 5%, then we need to specify the number of shares which is actually held by him. Clear? Next, what we have is the aggregate number and class of shares. Means class of shares means either it has to be the preference share capital or it has to be equity share capital. Okay, so what number and which class of the share is allotted as fully paid up for consideration other than cash. For example, shares issued for purchase of assets. Now understand this. When generally assets are purchased, what we give in return? We give in return cash. But sometimes it happens that in spite of cash, shares are given out in consideration for any kind of purchase. So details of such shares have to be specified. Okay, what is the aggregate number and which classes of shares have been given out in return of like purchase of assets or in return of anything where cash was supposed to be given, but cash is not given, shares are paid. So details have to be given properly. And where are they recorded? They are recorded under share capital. Clear? Next, what we have? We have aggregate number and class of shares allotted as fully paid up by way of bonus shares. Now, what are bonus shares? The existing shareholders of the company, they get certain shares as bonus shares. And there is a ratio, like you can get 1:1 or they may be 2:1. That means if a particular shareholder is holding 20 shares, then how many bonus he will get? He will get 10 shares as bonus. Why? Because the ratio is 2:1. for every 2 shares you will get 1 bonus share. Clear? That is the concept of bonus shares. So in case the bonus shares are given out to the existing shareholders, what is the total number and which types of shares have been given up by way of bonus shares, that have to be specified under the share capital. Clear? Next is the calls unpaid or calls in arrear. This we have understood, like when the company calls for money and it is unpaid by the shareholder, it is called as calls in arrear. Or in case the company itself is not asking for the full amount, instead of full 10 it is asking only 7, that means 3 is my calls in arrear. So that amount, it will be shown under share capital. And you see, I have given one more line in bracket, like exactly in share capital where it can be shown, it will be shown as a deduction from subscribed but not fully paid up capital. Clear? Where will the calls in arrear or calls unpaid be shown? It will be shown under share capital, we know, but where, exactly where? It will be shown as a deduction from subscribed but not fully paid up capital. Questions come from this part, that where will calls in arrear be posted? Okay, so your option or your answer would be, it will be shown as a deduction from subscribed but not fully paid up capital, right? And the last what we have is forfeited shares. What are forfeited shares? Suppose the nominal price of a share is rupees 10. Now that rupees 10 is broken up into parts like 2, 2, 3 and 3. This is my application money, this is my allotment money, this is my first call money, and this is my final call money. Means the company has broken the full amount into small parts, and in small installments, you can say, it takes money from the shareholders. Clear? Now for a particular shareholder, suppose Mr. X, what has Mr. X done? He has paid the application amount, he has paid the allotment amount, but he is unable to pay the first call amount and he is unable to pay the final call amount. That means this 6 rupees is actually what? It is continuously being calls in arrear, because the company is calling that you pay, but Mr. X is unable to pay, he is not paying. In that case, what will the company do? The company will forfeit the shares. Forfeit the shares means take back the shares from Mr. X. Why? Because Mr. X is unable to pay the money, and therefore the company takes back the shares. Okay, that is actually called as the forfeiture of shares. Now one more thing I would like to add. For the forfeited shares means the shares of Mr. X, he had already paid 4 rupees, he was only unable to pay this 6 rupees. So what will happen? This 4 rupees which Mr. X has already paid, it will be a gain of the company. Okay, the company will forfeit the shares, the company will take the shares. At the same time, the company will not return this 4 rupees which already Mr. X has paid. Okay, this 4 rupees will become the gain of the company. Just for your knowledge, I am discussing this. More details you will learn about shares when you learn the chapter shares. You have a shares chapter. There you will be understanding these concepts in more details. But for the time being, just understand that in case a shareholder is unable to pay the money, what happens? The company can forfeit or take back his shares. That is called as forfeited shares, and this forfeited shares, where is it posted in the balance sheet? It will come as an item under the share capital. Clear? Now, one more thing of importance is that there are many items that generally comes under share capital, but for your importance, for your curriculum point of view, I have chosen these points and these items would be sufficient for your examination. Clear? In your examination, if questions are set up regarding items that come under share capital, more or less they will be from these many items only. Okay, done with it? Now next what we have in hand is the image of how does a share capital actually looks in a balance sheet. See, first there is authorized capital. Clear? Authorized capital, the number of shares of rupees we write over here and we write the total here, and then is again closed by double lines. Then what we write? We write the issued capital dash shares of rupees dash each. Say for example 50 shares of rupees 10 each, and then we write the total here and we close it with a double line. Third, what we write? We write how much is my subscribed capital, and we know subscribed capital is divided into two types. First is subscribed and fully paid, next is subscribed but not fully paid. For both of them we write dash shares of rupees dash each, dash shares of rupees dash each. Clear? Now as because this is subscribed and not fully paid, obviously there has to be a calls in arrear. That is why it is not fully paid. Okay, some amount is pending to be paid, some amount is left to be paid. That is called as calls in arrear. Okay, now I hope you can see two small lines over here. What is the first line, or what are we going to write in the first dash? First blue dash we will write how much amount is actually called up. Means how much amount is actually asked by the company. Okay, and in the second dash we are going to write how much amount is actually uncalled by the company. Okay, so making up the total we can write over here, and in the above discussion as I told you that we are going to write the shares forfeited also in share capital, so we will add shares forfeited over here. We'll put up the total and it will come like this. This is just to give you a pictorial understanding. Okay, most of it and details of it we will be learning when we shall understand the chapters on shares and debentures. Okay, just for the time being you understand that how these items are actually posted under share capital.